And hi there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Flashback Comics here in Woodbridge, Virginia. I am Troy David Phillips, and with me yet again this week.
Hooray!
This guy just never learns, I'm telling you. Kevin Goswan, ComicsOnline.com. What's your catchphrase there, Kevin?
Everything geek pop culture, as you see on the green side of our little cube.
Well, they're seeing the yellow side of my cube right here.
All right, because you're the comics guy.
Yeah, comics, right here. This guy.
People usually call me the comics guy. Around here, Troy is the comics guy. No joke. This guy knows way more than me, and that's saying something.
Well, you know,
or at least it used to.
I've read a comic or two in my life. Speaking of which, I was busting through on my big project of rereading the entire life cycle of Richard Rider Nova. And I got up to Thanos Imperative. 2 more issues, and then I will have finished Thanos Imperative. I just need to read that final issue and then the aftermath. And then I am ready. Are you ready for me to segue into my first of my picks for the week?
Yes, sir.
Okay. As soon as I am done with that, I will be ready for Guardians of the Galaxy, issue number 18. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, Guardians of the Galaxy number 18, also an original Sin tie-in, where I am really truly hoping that Brian Michael Bendis is going to take us through what happened to Richard Rider and why it is that following the events of the Thanos Imperative with the Cancerverse, at the Fault. Do you remember those stories?
You're going to have to give me some trades, Troy. Is there anybody out there that needs that? Troy can help you. He's going to help me, so he might as well do it for you as well.
Well, the Guardians of the Galaxy teamed up with the Nova Corps at the time and found themselves in an uneasy alliance with Thanos, battling the denizens of the Cancerverse, a parallel universe in which death had been killed and life was overrunning the entire universe. Nothing died, and so life just went crazy, like a cancer. And what's the term? It metastasized?
Metastasized.
Metastasized, thank you. And they were breaking through what they were calling the Fault, coming into our universe.
We got enough cancer here already. I'm here to tell you.
Well, now, it was looking like Adam Magus, a parallel version of Adam Warlock, might have been the principal bad guy, but in fact it was the ultimate avatar of life, Captain Mar-Vell. Their Captain Mar-Vell. Our Mar-Vell is still quite dead of cancer, but their Mar-Vell was alive and well and leading this entire universe in an attempt to overflow into our universe, and part of that was predicated on killing Thanos. That didn't work out very well. Thanos once again manipulated the situation into his favor, so it would seem, because that's what he does, no matter what. In any event, Thanos was held in the Cancerverse by Peter Quill and Richard Rider, and the Fault was closed, and it looked like we had lost 2 great heroes. A statue was put up to them. The Guardians kind of broke up, and in the wake of the Guardians of the Galaxy, we had a new group, the Annihilators. And the Annihilators were multi-heavy hitters. We had Ronan the Accuser, and Gladiator, and Icon, the Star Knight, the Space Knight. Formerly Rom Space Knight, those Space Knights.
Oh yeah, it's the person who has Rom's armor, or maybe it's his son or something.
She has an armor. There were other Space Knights other than Rom, but of course Marvel can't use Rom right now. Thank you very much, Parker Brothers. In any event, in the years or months really since then, we have had Thanos come back, and we have had Peter Quill, Star-Lord, come back, but we didn't have Richard Rider. Instead, we have Sam Alexander, whose father was a Nova in a separate division of the Nova Corps, the Black Novas. Well, it looks like, I'll show you the cover one more time, we're going to get Richard Rider back. Or at least we're going to find out what happened to Richard Rider and why he didn't come back when Thanos and Peter Quill returned to us.
How do the Black Novas differ?
The Black Novas are more like kind of a wet works special ops branch of the Novas. It's a much more secretive branch. It was a branch that apparently the World Mind didn't feel it necessary to cue Richard Rider in on before, so we weren't cued in on it. You know what? There's still some secrets left in the Marvel Universe. There's still some mysteries left to unfold.
And it is critical that we pay attention at this time.
Yes, thank you. Oh my God, it used to always get my attention. Richard Rider, it's critical that you pay attention at this time.
I love that. What did that? Was it 08 that series started? That new Nova?
About that, yeah.
God, I love that series.
Yes, indeed. You know what? It makes me want to go back and dig out all of the Annihilations.
I don't reread anything, but I would totally reread that. That was a really fun series.
Unlike Kevin here, I reread everything I can get my hands on.
Well, I reread some things, but not anything recent. There hasn't been recently. There hasn't been things that I'm like, oh, I got to go back and reread that again. Aside from maybe like Sandman, I think I've
He rereads the food labels.
Probably. Don't judge.
Guardians of the Galaxy number 18, an original Sin tie-in with Richard Rider. And that is my first recommendation this week.
Well,
what have you got for me, Kev?
So, first on my list for this week, I have an original Sin as well. Avengers number 34 is one of my picks. And this one, I thought, it's, Hickman as the writer, Lionel Yu. Look at this art. Look at this art.
Oh, it is absolutely beautiful. You
Look
get
at
that
little splash page with a little Iron Lad or whatever he's calling himself these days. I'm really looking forward to jumping back into more Avengers titles. By the way, so you might as well just throw all Avengers titles into my box and then. Yeah,
that's quite a few titles actually. As it's the Avengers, the New Avengers, the Mighty Avengers, Avengers World, Avengers Assemble has ended, so that's one less that you have to worry about.
Okay,
and Avengers Undercover, and Secret Avengers. Yeah,
do I care about Undercover or Secret Avengers?
Yes, you do.
All right, I'll try them. The rest of them definitely.
Please,
particularly this one. I'm loving the writer artist combination. So, what's your next one?
I will also be reading Avengers number 34, as I have also been reading the original Sin series and everything Avengers. Absolutely loving what Jonathan Hickman is doing on this book. The way he's unfolding the events. And here's the thing: you can read the main Avengers book, and it is still very separate and distinct from New Avengers. Oh, and I forgot Uncanny Avengers. That's another one to add on there too.
Throw that in there for sure.
Sticking with all things Marvel, and kind of sort of on an Avenger-y theme, is the all-new Invaders. Okay, now
I'm getting that one already.
Yes, indeed. I've described this title for other people before. The Invaders are Marvel's World War II superheroes, characters that actually were printed in the 1940s. The Submariner, the Human Torch, Captain America, Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier is also in this group. And this particular issue gives us Death by Deathlock, the last Luther Manning story. In the 1970s, Luther Manning was a character introduced in Astonishing Tales. He was the first Deathlock, the super soldier of the near future, the 1990s. Deathlock has had a series of guest appearances in various Marvel titles over the years, and was supplanted in the actual year 1990 by Michael Collins as Deathlock. It almost seems that by traveling back in time and interacting with Marvel characters, Deathlock put himself in a predestination loop, where now Michael Collins from Roxxon will be the groundwork that lays Luther Manning's future. Or so it would seem.
Right.
Of course, parallel futures being what they are, and those of us that have ever read any of these Marvel titles, we know darn well Killraven is one possible future. The Guardians of the Galaxy are one possible future. Deathlock is one possible future. There are many possible futures. Who knows what the future holds? Always in motion is the future.
It's wibbly wobbly and timey wimey.
But I absolutely love Luther Manning. I absolutely love the all-new Invaders. Even though they're not necessarily all new, they're just more like the all-current Invaders. I actually wonder if Marvel would ever consider bringing back the all-winners squad with either the survivors or the modern incarnations of the World War II superheroes from All Winners, All Select Comics.
That'd be fun.
It would be incredibly awesome. Some of the characters, like Miss America and the Wizard, have in fact died and have not come back.
Well, but I mean, you could have in something like that. I would love to see who's the successor to that role.
Well, you probably, like myself, enjoyed the Marvel series from a few years ago, Citizen V and the V Battalion. Do you remember those?
I don't.
Citizen V spilled out of Fabian Niciza's and Mark Bagley's Thunderbolts, and it turned out that, in fact, there was a grandson of Citizen V, that Baron Zemo was making up a story, but his story was predicated in part on truth. And the real Citizen V stepped up, and Citizen V was leading the V Battalion, and it was comprised of the successors of the World War II superheroes doing their thing.
Huh. Well, all right.
It was pretty incredible.
Yeah, that sounds cool. And that's one of the reasons why I really loved before New 52 blew up my world. That's why I really loved Justice Society.
Yes,
it's that ongoing heritage behind the passing of the torch from one hero to their successor. I dig that.
I've always enjoyed stories like that. Infinity Incorporated, All Star Squadron, the JSA, Justice Society Classified. Books like that, and then even the miniseries America versus the JSA. Remember that? It's a 4-issue miniseries from the mid-late 80s.
Right. Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't really collecting DC back then, but I do remember what you're talking about.
This guy.
That guy.
Yeah. So, yes, indeed, all new Invaders. That'll be in your box as per usual.
Definitely. So, as I said, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. So Troy, this week we've got a new Doctor Who. As this week we have on television got the new Doctor Who. This is these are new adventures with the 10th Doctor here, the David Tennant Doctor. But on television we've got the number 12-ish, 13 depending on how you look at it. And for those of you who haven't watched it yet, no spoilers here, but stick it out. It starts uncomfortably and you're thinking, "Oh, this is going to be terrible. This is going to be an awful new Doctor." And then by the end, I was in. I was like, okay, fine. I'm in. I'm still not going to tell you that I like him as much as David Tennant or Matt Smith.
Okay, Kevin, go on record here.
Yes.
Favorite Doctor.
You know what? Everybody wants you to say David Tennant, and he's awesome. But really, in the end, I fucking love Matt Smith. I feel most comfortable, most akin to Matt Smith.
I guess I have to answer that question now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tom Baker, baby. Tom Baker.
Old. This guy. Old.
I love all the other Doctors. It doesn't matter, but Tom Baker, always come back. It's the scarf.
You know what I just noticed?
What's that?
This is not IDW. This is Titan Comics. Didn't they wasn't Doctor Who for a time?
It was.
IDW?
Yes, it was.
All right.
Cool. Some things change, Kev.
They do.
Roll with the changes.
Oh, no, I'm fine. That's not going to bother me as far as I can tell.
It's going to keep him up all night long.
Nah. That'd be fine.
Yeah, he's not going to get any sleep tonight. When I see him tomorrow, when he comes in to get his comics, he's going to be all red-eyed. He's going to be staggering around like he's out on a bender.
Nah, that'd be fine.
Unless, of course, you really are going out on a bender.
Hey, join the cast of Flashback Comics every Tuesday night, right down the street. Come into the store for details. We don't want you there unless you've been to the store and bought comics first.
Okay, well, I'm going to follow up Doctor Who there. That's issue number 2.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to follow it up with Exo Man of War. This is issue number 28. Exo Man of War is, at this point in time, continuing the Armor Hunter storyline. See, it's right there on the bottom there, Kim.
Armor Hunters.
It makes it easy to pick up all the pieces of the Armor Hunter story as it unfolds. And it's actually been really cool. You have this coalition of aliens that has come to Earth, and they are advanced and powerful and ruthless, and they want the Exo Man of War armor. Eric was ready to surrender the armor, but he was talked out of it, and we have had a counter-strike. We have had a seemingly very effective counter-strike, but the story's not over yet. It didn't end well because it hasn't ended yet. There were some twists, there were surprises. Everyone still got a little left in the dance on this one. I've very much been enjoying Exo and Unity and the Armor Hunters limited series. One more issue to go, 404.
Huh. I think I'm biggest fan. Talk about all these different armors. I think I'm the biggest fan of like the Bob Layton years, like the Mark IV?
Well, yeah, you're definitely going way back there.
Oh wait, that's Iron Man.
Try to keep up here.
Oh, sorry. I'll try to keep up.
Contemporize, man. Contemporize. You're living in the past.
I am. That's a good accusation.
I really can't say enough about the Robert Venditti writing on this book. With the action, with the characters, with the pace of the story, the scope of the conflict. Yeah, it's just been so very good. Kevin's about to drop something here. I've got a Exo Man of War number 28. See it there? Come get this.
You may remember from previous episodes of this show that Troy mentioned to me that the Spectacular Spider-Ham was coming back. Well, badow. That's what I have to say here. Badow. Ultimate Spider-Man. This is number 29 of the current series. The first one went up to 125-ish, and this current Ultimate Spider-Man series. Which,
well, now this is the one based on the Disney XD animated series. But
it doesn't suck like the animated series. Oh, sorry, creators.
Well, you know what though? It is a kids' cartoon.
It is a kids' cartoon, and this is a kids' comic, but it is a good kids' comic.
Yeah, it is. All ages and. Truthfully, I bought that first issue of Marvel Tales back in 1983. I really did. And
I've got it too.
When Stars Comics came out, and we had Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham, I was all on that. When he was a backup feature in Marvel Tales with the Spider-Man reprints, I picked those up, even though I really didn't need to at that point in time. But I picked them up anyway to have the Peter Parker stories. I was thrilled that they brought the character back. And in the actual grown-up Ultimate Spider-Man comics, there's a version of Peter Parker who is a little less cartoony. He's really more kind of like Howard the Duck, a pig in anthropomorphic form with spider powers.
And rather than just being a cartoon pig.
Right.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So here's one for the all ages, Ultimate Spider-Man for the more mature reader. Everything is good for everybody. Kevin here, he just can't win for losing because now he's got to pick up 2 comics instead of just one.
I'm going to pour my sippy cup out for the kids, and here's one for the kids.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much there.
Yeah. So what's your next one, Troy?
Well, next up on my hit parade, I'm jumping over to the DC side of things and showing off Secret Origins. Secret Origins number 5. Now, the Secret Origins series has been giving us 3 short stories per issue, spotlighting the origin stories of 3 different heroes. We've seen Superman, Supergirl, we've seen Harley Quinn, we've seen Green Lantern. This time up, we're getting Cyborg, Victor Stone, we're getting Red Hood from the Red Hood and the Outlaws title, and we're getting Mira, Aquaman's romantic interest from the Aquaman series. If you already know those things, I'm not really talking down to you. What I'm trying to do is give a reason for a new reader to get interested. And here's something. If you missed out on those early issues of the Justice League, where Victor Stone's origins were laid out a bit more in depth, where we saw him becoming Cyborg as Darkseid was incurring, as the Justice League, the new 52 incarnation of the Justice League was forming, well, Cyborg's story will be encapsulated as one of the 3 stories here in the latest incarnation of Secret Origins. So you want to come and pick this up. If you don't know anything about these characters, it's a good place to get familiar with them and make some decisions about whether you want to follow their current ongoing series or not.
You've already answered all the questions that I was going to ask you about that comic. That sounds like a great entry point for anybody looking to get into DC Comics right now.
So on Victor Stone, Cyborg, we're looking at Marv Wolfman as the writer. Of course, Marv Wolfman was the creator of Victor Stone, for the co-creator with George Perez on New Teen Titans way back, Lord, what is that, 1981? And I'm trying to get to the creative teams for, that Futures and Dad, though, man. That really catches the eye. And Scott Lobdell writing the Red Hood story. That ought to be fun. And, I got to talk to you about that series coming up there, Kev, that one that I just blew right past.
The Green Lantern something or other?
Yes, indeed.
Because you know that Green Lantern is one of the few things that I'll actually read with regard to the New 52.
And Jeff Parker writes the Mira story. So, Mira, Red Hood, and Cyborg. Secret Origins, number 5. Come get that.
Seems worthwhile for jumping on.
Yeah, we got to do that Comics Online podcast and talk a little about Godhead and maybe Future's End and drop a couple lines about Multiversity. We were also going to talk about our feelings and our thoughts on the New 52. We're almost at the 3-year mark for the New 52 for DC Comics.
I know. Honestly, I didn't think it was going to last this long. I thought it was going to get blown away by now and replaced with the good stuff that I want. I want the good stuff back. Whoever's in charge, Dan Didio, I don't care whoever it is.
Stop living in the past.
Fix it. I'm living in the past.
Contemporize,
I'm a grumpy old man. I'm a grumpy old man. I'm younger than Troy. I'm a grumpy old man.
I know, right?
Speaking of grumpy old man, oh, look. It's Harlan Ellison's City on the Edge of Forever. You might remember this from the original Star Trek series.
Yes, I do.
Star Trek TOS, as the kids call it. And oh, look. My close personal friend, J.K. Woodward. He's not really a close personal friend, but we had drank the shit. I mean, we drank some beverages in London one time and had a good old time all day long and well into the night.
And then belched very loudly?
Most likely.
It was...
We were down in the pub. Yeah.
It was at a science fiction convention where I met Harlan Ellison, and in the brief time that we had to talk and interact, he signed something for me. I had one thing for him to sign, and he signed it, and I asked if he had any advice for an aspiring writer, and I probably irritated him a little bit. I think it's a question he gets a lot, but he looked at me and he said, if you can be talked out of it, you should be. Okay.
Is J.K. Woodward coming to visit us at the either of these 2 Comic-Cons that are coming up in the next couple of 3 weeks?
I couldn't swear one way or the other.
If he's there, he'll be joining us at the pub.
That guest list for the Baltimore Comic-Con is extensive,
it's huge.
And I've not gone all the way through.
I just reposted it today on Comics Online.
Oh my goodness, there are a lot of names to look at.
I didn't even read it; I just copy pasted.
I have to look through to look at the names and get my books to get autographed. So.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
This up here? I'm going to bring this up here because Mark says that I'm not doing it right.
Yeah, well,
thanks, Mark. Good thing Mark's here.
Yeah, that's because you can take direction. That's actually pretty good.
But yeah, that was one of my very favorite Star Trek: The Original Series episodes ever, and here it is, rendered by J.K. Woodward, who has done not only this, but he's done that ongoing series with Peter David.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? What does I don't remember. I'm sorry, I never read it. However, but what he did do was the awesome. Star Trek Doctor Who crossover, Star Trek The Next Generation, and Doctor Who crossover. Did you read that one?
I did not.
Fantastic.
I'll have to pull that. I'll have to find that and make that a thing to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally worth it. Totally worth it.
I have a 3-way tie, incidentally, between The Cage, A Piece of the Action, and The Gamesters of Triskelion.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's
worthwhile. All of those.
Well, the whole original series. What the hey?
Yeah.
Let's just watch Star Trek all day long.
All right. After this, we're gonna go watch Star Trek. I'll just get it on my computer at the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
The highly reputable restaurant that we're about to visit.
Reputable.
That's
reputable.
Both of those.
Yes.
I've heard it both ways.
Well, you know
I've
what?
heard it both. Never mind.
Oh,
Psych is over.
Stop.
I'm so sad. So sad.
So
what do you got next?
My fifth and final pick, Kev, I'm getting something a little bit different here. Dark Horse Comics. This new title, and here's what grabbed me. The name Tim Seeley. If you're a fan of Revival, if you're reading Batman Eternal, you know Tim Seeley's name. Tim Seeley's written several other pieces, and it seems like I pick it up and I read it and I go, I really was entertained by that. I'm going to remember Tim Seeley's name. And I meant it, because I have remembered his name. So here's this new book that out from Dark Horse, and it's called Sundowners. Okay? Now, I gave it a look through, and because I wanted to know what this book was about that Tim Seeley is doing. And it does, in fact, have a team of superheroes. They're not actually a team, they're a support group, kind of like Alcoholics Anonymous, and they all suffer something called Sundowners syndrome. Now, the person who hosts the support group, he himself is not actually a super, and he has some less than reputable characteristics. It's like he believes in what he does, but he plays very fast and loose. But you see him taking down notes, and it helps as he's taking the notes. You could see them. They characterize the supers themselves. Now, they come to the support group, and they introduce themselves by their night names, not all of which are happy with the term night names. They think it sounds stupid. And they talk about what they did, in the previous days. And meanwhile, our host writes notes about whether or not he thinks they're suffering from paranoia or kleptomania or perhaps some old drug abuse issues or some kind of religious persecution complex. And like I said, there are some very interesting moments of characterization on each of these characters. Different from something like The Watchmen, but similar in that it gives a very realistic and humanistic approach to costumed super beings.
That's kind of interesting. It kind of, with the art that I'm seeing and the and your description, it kind of reminds me of something of a supernatural Watchmen plus what was the Vertigo series, Midnight something. Anyway, sound a similar thing. That does sound kind of interesting. I might have to check that out. And this is a #1 that comes out from our perspective tomorrow. And of course, Troy has already read it because he can't stop himself.
Well, I had to be able to talk about it, and I did want people to have a look at this. Sorry, I'm actually going to talk into the microphone now. Now, for those who might be concerned, it is definitely for mature readers, but it is not heavily into nudity. It's actually more implied than thrown in your face. There's not really strong language, but the characters do speak in a rather adult fashion. And the concepts involve some of that kind of psychological baggage that a great many people carry around every day. Some deal with it very well, and some people require more support, definitely more of a supportive environment. The thing that I like about it is it doesn't really, it doesn't present that kind of group therapy session in a negative light. It is definitely very much a part of the story. So kudos to Tim Seeley once again for writing something that I can't seem to resist.
All right. So, what I saw this week, and tell me this is a new one this week and not just a replenishment from last week.
This is new.
Thank goodness. One of the best comics out right now.
You only say that because it won 5 Harvey Awards last year.
Yeah, and it also this year at San Diego at the what are the awards there?
The Eisner Awards.
The Eisner Awards.
Named for Will Eisner.
Good old Will Eisner.
Creator of The Spirit.
Exactly. And many other things.
Yes, indeed. But known best for The Spirit.
Known best for The Spirit, obviously. Won best ongoing, right? Am I wrong? He won. It won best something or other. It was awarded at the Eisners this year.
Much deserved. Much deserved.
Right.
Brian K. Vaughan, Fiona Staples, turning out some amazing work with Saga.
Now, I hadn't heard of Fiona Staples previous to this. Now, I hadn't heard of Pia Guerra previous to Why the Last Man. And had you heard of Fiona Staples?
Her name wasn't familiar to me before Saga, but then suddenly it seemed like I had seen her work in 2 or 3 other books, and the titles of which are escaping me now because I didn't know you were going to ask me that. Can we get some script control here?
I asked Troy the hard questions, and, if you want to know the answers to that question, by the time you get here to the store, Troy will know the answer forever.
Or at least until the next time somebody puts me on the spot. But you know what? Here.
Take a look at this art.
Fiona Staples, people. That's the least you need to know.
Excellent sci-fi fantasy story.
Yes, indeed.
It's accessible to those who aren't big comic people, I've noticed. Much like Why the Last Man.
Yeah, there are a lot of people actually who come in. They've heard about the book and they pick up the trade paperback collections. We're up to volume 3. Volume 4 shouldn't be very far around the corner.
Can't wait.
Yes, indeed. So, volume 4 of Saga, the trade paperback, should be available. Of course, you won't need that since you pick up all the single issues without fail.
I prefer them I prefer them individually on those comic series that I really enjoy the most.
Yes, indeed. Image has been very, very good about putting together trade paperback collections of their stuff, making it available. So if you missed out on the award-winning Saga from issue number 1, then you can either, 1, go on the hunt for back issues across the country, because hunting for back issues is really a lot of fun, or come into Flashback and pick up the trade paperbacks because you don't have time to hunt around the whole country, however much fun it might actually be.
Well, you can get several of the individual issues right here at Flashback.
Well, yeah, but I don't like to brag.
Troy's got you hooked up. Don't even worry about it. Just come in, see what he's got. He's probably got most of what you need.
I do have a lot, but I will say that I have been plundered heavily in terms of Saga back issues, including a little bit earlier this year, actually, just in the late winter, early spring, helped a young fellow out by getting him a first print Saga number 1 for his collection, and he was quite ecstatic about that.
Very nice. Unfortunately, my first jump into Saga was too late. In fact, back when I was in England, as I told you recently, I was in England. A friend of mine there, Tim from the Hat Decides podcast. Hi, Tim. Said, I got all these Saga ones. Do you have those? And I said, no, I don't have those. He's like, you can have them all. And unfortunately, his co-conspirators on that podcast, John and Matt from the other podcast, you know what I'm talking about, people. It's not around anymore. Said, oh my God, no, those are too expensive. You gotta eBay those. What are you, crazy, Tim? And that is why I don't have the first 12 issues of Saga.
Well, I'll see what I can do for you.
Oh, I'm not able to spend the real money on those yet.
What are you talking about? You're handsomely compensated in your day job.
Well.
So, Saga 22. And that was your 5th pick of the evening.
That was my 5th pick of the evening, and that might be it for us this week. These are the comics coming out Wednesday, August 27th, 2014.
August 27th, 2014. My goodness, the summer is almost over.
Almost over.
I know there are a bunch of Virginia kids who've already gone back to school. The rest of you, you're looking at Labor Day. It'll be your last hurrah, and then boom!
Now, this weekend, Troy, is an excellent weekend for people to come into Flashback, I would guess.
Yeah, actually. I do believe that this is the weekend that we decided that we were going to put up a special one-day surprise sale.
Uh-oh.
And you know what? I have to actually look at the schedule, because now that I'm sitting here talking to you, I don't remember if I'm scheduled for Monday or not. I really, truly do not. I better look into that. But come in here to Flashback Comics, ladies and gentlemen, and ask about the surprise sale. And if it's myself, if it's Megan, if it's Craig, someone will help you out and will make you happy.
That's what they do here. Is just make you happy and make you buy a lot of really awesome comics. They're good at that. The other thing is, so this weekend we've got the holiday weekend. What is there to do for your fans besides after they're done coming into your store and then reading a bunch of comics? What's there to do in this area? I'm asking for myself, really.
Well, we do have a fairly close proximity to Washington, D.C. I don't know what the traffic circle will be like. I'm a native Virginian, and I know how to navigate this, but there are usually so many things to see and do. Downtown D.C., of course, there's Tyson's Corner, there's Potomac Mills, there's, the Battlefield Parks, Bull Run. There's just so much happening. So I guess a lot of that depends on where your interests lie. We should check out a map actually and take a look and maybe point out where your family should go. Point A, point B, point C. Come back home and maybe knock out some more Comics Online podcasts or something.
Ooh,
I don't know.
That would be good.
Yeah, really. Who gave you the weekend off? Get back to work.
We can go fishing with Craig. Oh, Craig. Craig, nobody wanted to see that. That was awful.
I was smart enough to be looking into the camera at the time.
You're more focused than I am.
It's how I keep my sanity.
I understand. So and then after that, of course, the following weekend, we will
Baltimore Comic-Con, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be incredible.
Be there. And the following weekend after that?
Is it the immediate following weekend?
I think so.
Or is it the weekend? Is it 2 weekends following?
I think it's the immediately following weekend. I could be wrong. Anyway, Wizard World Richmond. You will find us doing this there.
Indeed.
Live in front of you, the audience, our audience. Be there.
So I'd better get my stuff together and be ready. I guess
Troy will be wearing the shirt that says "Free Hugs." So free hugs from Troy.
Oh my goodness! Much love to all my comic collecting people.
Yeah. So no. Craig doesn't want to say anything. I think that's a show for this week. What do you think?
I think we should go and get some dinner.
Excellent.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, come see us, Flashback Comics, new Comic Wednesday. Looking forward to it. You got to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, write us up a review on Google. Pretty please. Good ones. All right.
See you next time.
Let's do this.
From leaping tall buildings to going off like gamma bombs. Switch your internet browser to ComicsOnline.com.